Hi guys. Hi. Woo! How is everyone? How are you all doing today? I hope your day is going well or has gone well or depending on what time zone you are watching us from. Some of you your day is already like almost over, you know. For yours and for others the day is just starting. This is the wonderful reality of living on this planet. This is why the earth is not flat, it is round. Right? Or this is proof that the earth is not flat, it is round. Or maybe it is flat, who knows. How are you all doing? Sorry guys that I'm 5 minutes late. It had to happen. It just had to happen. uh hi. I can see all of you, all your comments. So many people that I haven't seen before. This is I drink battery acid. Is this not a beautiful username? You are my sunshine. Me? I'm flattered. Tabitha is asking how are you, how are we doing? I think we are doing great. We are doing great. Started a little bit late, but we are doing great. We are doing great. We are doing great. We are doing great. What else? Jazz says Frank should be on fire tonight. This stuff really gets him fired up. Well, does it? It's like I'm not a huge fan of Islamic child marriage. You know, who knows? Maybe I might convert for this very reason, so I can engage in this beautiful practice. How are we all doing? We don't have so many people with us live right now. Why is that? Why is that? What is happening? We are just 27. What's going on? But it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Uh, it's all good. Just gifted 5 Nigerian perspective membership. Thank you so much. And a new profile. What's it called? Profile picture. Happy Mark is saying, "Hey Frank, hey to you too. How are you? How are you doing?" Uh, sorry. I'm doing well. It's Cycling Trail UK is letting us know that he's doing well, and so am I. So am I, guys. Today was very interesting. I was working on a couple shots. I decided to be more creative in the editing process of some of my shots or the shots that I'm really making this week, and because of that, it takes like a more time in editing them and stuff because I'm purposely trying to put so many clips and so many scenes in every shot that I'm making. So it kind of takes a while to make those shots. That is why this live stream kind of started late because the shot that I was even working on, I'm not done with it. So probably after the live stream, I'll have to continue and see if I can be done with it before 10 o'clock because it is going to that's 10 o'clock GMT because that's when I intend to post it. So yeah, this is my explanation for why I was late. And please bear with me. Bear with me. Uh XS Killer 1248XX Killer said, "You have a nice room, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Trying to represent Nigeria. I'm repping my people. Like they say, we are repping uh the region, the whole West Africa. That's what I'm here to do, to represent properly. Guys, this live stream is going to be eventful. We are going to continue our conversation about child marriage. We're going to be talking about, a lot of interesting things about child marriage. But first, let's talk about some of the things that are happening recently, around the world, right? First we have, you know, the jihad activities that I don't know if it has stopped, but I think yesterday that was going on in Washington D.C. in front outside the U.S. Congress, the building, right in front of the Columbus Memorial and in front of the Liberty Bell in Washington D.C., where people were doing wonderful things, right? They were burning the flag, they were expressing themselves, expressing their deep love for what is it called now? For an Islamic for a free Palestine, right? Everything is about a free Palestine, but when you listen to what they are saying, they sound very, very much like jihadists and people who are desiring an Islamic state or Islamic caliphate. I mean, they burnt the American flag, and before the flag went on fire, you could hear in the video, you could hear screams of Allahu Akbar, right? And I'm like, yeah, this shows you that this is all about, you know, a free Palestine. When you're talking about a free Palestine, but you can't help but, you know, scream the popular Islamic phrase. And of course, people are going to be like, oh, there is nothing about the phrase. It just means God is great. Don't you agree that God is great? Yeah. Yeah, I said, you know, when people want to, you know, massacre Jews or Christians or commit acts of, you know, jihad, that is what they scream. And and that is being screamed as the American flag is being, you know, set ablaze. Yeah, makes you wonder, you know, is this really just all about the greatness of God, or is this about an Islamic takeover? But of course, those were, you know, interesting videos. I'll be reacting to most of those videos on Saturday. That's what we'll be talking about on Saturday, and I will have Rebecca as a guest. It's going to be. I envision that it is going to be an interesting live stream. I believe it is going to be an interesting live stream. We have Wakanda Lisa. I like your profile picture. Hey Texan. Are you letting us know that you're from You're from Texas. I am happy to see your live chat. Yeah. Yes. And then there's the Manchester Airport police kicking incident where I think currently there's even like a protest or something going on in Manchester to that regard. You know, Muslims are now taking every opportunity to express themselves. You will not mess with us. You will not do anything to us that we perceive to be unfair. The Muslims in the UK have become blacks in BLM in America. Let me not say blacks. BLM in America is they're now like unlike BLM in America, where as it was exposed to be a fraudulent organization, the Muslims in the UK already know that they are fraudulent. So there's no even we are trying to convince people that we are not. What we are going to do is concentrate ourselves in a particular region and then use our voice to make it look like we are more than we are, because we are concentrated in a particular region, and you know, try to demand for things and stuff like that. And the funny thing about Muslims in the UK is that they're just 8% of the population. 8% of the population, and look at what they're already doing. Imagine when they are more than 8%, you know. Great things are going to happen when that becomes the case, you know. And is really looking bleak. Is really looking bleak. And sometimes you wonder if there is really hope for change. And you know, when I spoke with Momos the last time I had him on the channel with Anta, he was talking about how there needs to be, you know, this grassroots awareness, you know, how Europe needs to return back to God, to their culture, to, you know, regain whatever it is about their cultural national identity that seems to be lost, and how the change has to come from, you know, from the grassroots upward. And that I don't know if there is time for that. At this point, I'm looking at what is happening in the UK, and not just the UK, also in the US. And I'm asking myself, I don't know if there is time for this grassroots awakening. I don't think there is time for it. Like, I feel you are running out of time, and your solution is something that will take time. I don't even know what is the way. Like, when I look at that, I'm like, I don't even know what's the way forward. Huh? You know. I don't know what's the way forward. Someone is asking, this is Cycling Trail UK, if I heard of the lead riots. Yeah, I heard of the Reed riots, and the Romanian that set fire to a bus in Leeds, and also how the mayor of Leeds, the Muslim, he participated in the protest that later became a riot, and of course it was mostly peaceful, of course. Yeah. I was aware of that, and this has become the modus operandi, is a recent development for the modus operandi of Muslims in the UK. They are becoming bold, and they are being rewarded, right? Because the authorities cave in whenever they make this, they do this, their demands are met. That's one thing about this kind of thing, right? Like if they engage in riots and protests or whatever it is they want to call it, and their demands are met, you might be like, oh, we condemn it, we condemn riots, but you gave them what they want or what they wanted. They will do it again. You are rewarding bad behavior. It is going to replicate and become the norm until, you know, tomorrow they will be rioting because, they want you to change the law to allow 4 wives, and you cave in. And the next thing you know, they will be rioting because they want child marriage. And before you know, like, how far are you going to go? How far are you going to go to appease these people? Is it not? And obviously, I am aware. Okay, I am so aware of the fact that when it comes to it's not just the UK or the US or even those Western countries, even in countries like Nigeria where we have the problem of Islamists. I am aware that the government is not going to help. Like, the solution is not going to come from politicians. It is going to come from individuals. And I wonder, okay, what would the solution look like? Right? What will it look like? I don't know. I literally don't know. Yeah. So crazy things are happening. Crazy things are happening. Crazy things. All right, guys. I want you to hit that like button. Smash it. Right? That like button. Just smash it. Smash it. Every 38 of you that are live with us, smash it like 5 times in 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes, you smash it 5 times. Okay, please do that right now. Smash that like button. Smash the like button, please. I implore you all to smash that like button, like destroy it. Okay, commit acts of jihad on that like button. Do it now and do it quick. Do it right now. Okay. I, your court leader, have spoken, and I want you to do what I just said immediately. Please smash it, destroy it. Okay, destroy it. No, just hit the like button. Okay, hit the like button, and share this link to people so that we'll have more. I don't know why the viewership of my live stream is reduced. I feel I'm being punished by the great gods of the YouTube. Okay, I don't know what I said. I don't know what I did, but I don't know. The views and stuff on my channel is kind of reducing, and I don't even understand why. So please, if there's anything we can do to encourage the algorithm to promote what we are talking about here. Maybe YouTube is saying no more child marriage conversation, Frank. Stop talking about children getting married. Maybe that's what you're trying to tell me. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. We are going to keep, trying to. You see, now we have 42. So guys, keep smashing the like button. I guess if you keep smashing it, we are going to have more people. Okay? Keep smashing it, destroy it, so I will have more and more people. So yeah. What else do I want to talk about? What else? Let me tell you guys a little before we get to all this is I'm just using to buy time before we get into the main conversation of today. All right. So more people can join us and not miss out on anything we are talking about. One more interesting news story that has been going on in the world is what is happening in Nigeria. So in my beautiful, wonderful country, people are there's plans to have a protest on the 1st of August. I think it's on the 1st of August. Right. And there is a likelihood that, although the truth is, when it comes to Nigeria and the possibility of an uprising in this country, I am like, I don't know if it is possible for us to have the kind of uprising like what we saw in Kenya, for example. Is there a possibility of such in this country? I don't know, because Nigerians are too laid back, Everybody's like, even if the Nigerians are experts in adjusting, no matter how horrible the situation gets, we are experts in adjusting, right? So, and being upset for so long, we cannot maintain a movement like what they did in Kenya for so long that it is going to, lead to something fruitful of any kind, right? And we have a government that does not intend to do anything about the current economic situation of the country or security situation of the country. Anyways, the bottom line is that youths in the country are planning to, go have a protest on the 1st of August, and the government went to the traditional leaders in Lagos and said, I've forgotten the name of the festival, that there's a particular festival that is to hold in Lagos, and that festival should hold on the 1st of August. And then the traditional rulers in Lagos announced there will be so and so. I've forgotten the name of the festival. There will be this festival in Lagos, and everybody is advised to stay indoors. I'm like, all right. Now you know who your enemies are. My friend, or a festival. Now you know who your enemies are in this country. You think it's just Tinubu? It's a cabal, it's a syndicate. Everyone. That is the problem in Nigeria. Like, Nigerian politicians are not too selfish. Like, you have dictators, right, in other countries, or in other countries where it's just one man, right? One man is benefiting from everything that is going on, or every act of corruption is benefiting just one man, and everybody is trying to bring down that one man, right? Like, if you take down this one man, maybe things will get better. No, in Nigeria, it is an entire system, right? Of so many people are involved, that if you say we want to take down one man, they'll be like, no, he's not going down. He's not going down. That is the corruption in Nigeria. So many people are involved. Everybody has a share. Traditional leaders have a share. Local government chairmen have a share. Whoever has, even civil servants. There are some civil for like level 4, level 5. I don't know how they grade themselves. Civil servants, they have stake in the corruption. So how are you going to dismantle it? How are you going to destroy it? You have. I remember one time when I was in school, I went to visit a church member of ours that was living in a different state in Nigeria. So I went to visit him, and this is somebody who works at NNPC, right? And everybody knows that NNPC is corrupt. NNPC is a very corrupt government agency or government company, whatever you want to call it. Very corrupt. And he's like a senior manager at NNPC. This is a devout Christian, by the way. He's really a devout Christian. I don't want to explain the culture of corruption in Nigeria. So I was in his house, and I was discussing with him about the problem of NNPC and how maybe privatization will help, change or root out the corruption that is inherent in the company or in the agency, whatever it is, that if this is privatized, when private companies are running this, it will be better. So it's like, no, that is not the way. The reason why they want to privatize is that they want us to suffer. And I was like, so you don't even care that what these people are doing is affecting the average Nigerian. It's about you. It's about you who is working in this company. You who is part of the problem. It's about, if this company goes down, what about me? So that is the problem in Nigeria. You might be like, there's so many people who work for the Nigerian government right now, this corrupt government that we have. There's so many people who their dream is to work for the Nigerian government. They are not even working for it, but they have the aspiration of working for it. And these people will meet you in Nigeria on a daily basis and be like, this government is corrupt, my brother. This government is horrible. And I'm like, but you are part of it, or you want to be a part of it. So is there a likelihood of things changing in this country? I don't see it, because there are so many hands involved in it. So many. And but we can always be hopeful. We can always be hopeful. Let's see if things will change. By the way, there have been a couple of gifted membership. Jazz has given another 5. I mean, everybody, a round of applause. I want to see clapping hands in the comment in the live chat for Jazz. Clapping hands, please. Clapping hands. Can I have some clapping hands in the comments or in the live chat or in the chat? You know how they used to say it, all these people, all these live streamers. Chat, can I get chat, like all of you guys do. Your name is Chat. Chat, can I get clapping hands? Can I get clapping hands, chat? I always find it interesting the way they say it. Yeah, I'm seeing the clapping hands. Also, clapping hands for Govan 00, or I don't know if that's it's 000 Govan 00. Gifted one Nigerian perspective, membership. Yeah, I can see clapping hands. This is interesting. All right. Uh okay. So let's get to the topic for today. We are talking about Sharia law, Islamic is child marriage under Sharia law, right? Child marriage under Sharia law. Many of you have not, been with us in this conversation that we started. Maybe you've not been. I'm not sure. Maybe you haven't. So let me bring everybody up to speed, right? About what Islam says about child marriage. Okay. The last time we were talking about child marriage, we looked at the Quran, right? And we started by saying that it is not expressly stated. There's no chapter or verse in the Quran that says, go ye into the world and marry children, okay? Or anything similar to that, right? It is not a direct command. Like you can marry children, go ahead. And we are saying the reason why sometimes it is important to mention this is because you have Surah 33 verse 50 that says it is okay for you to marry cousins. Let's look at Surah 33 verse 50 again, right? Let's look at it again so that it's not just be me saying it, right? It's not just be me saying it. So this is the perfect speech of Almighty Allah saying, O Prophet, lo, we have made lawful unto thee thy wives, unto whom thou hast paid their dowries, and those from thy right, those whom thy right hand possesseth. Pictor is like, let us, this is pictor. Pictor is like it's like the King James version for the Quran. King James English version for the Quran. Okay, so, O Prophet, lo, we have made lawful unto thee thy wives, unto whom thou had paid their dowries, and those whom thy right hand possesseth, of those whom Allah had given thee as spoils of war, and the daughters of thy uncle on the father's side, and the daughters of thy aunts on the father's side, and the daughters of thy uncles of thy uncle on the mother's side, and the daughters of thy aunts on the mother's side, who emigrate with thee as a believing woman and a believing. Okay, let's just stop here. But in case this is kind of difficult for you to read, let us look at a better translation or a better English translation. I'm not saying Sahih International is better, but easier to read. O Prophet, indeed we have made lawful to you your wives, to whom you have given their due compensation, and those your right hand possesses, that's your slaves, they are lawful for you. By lawful means people you can have sexual intercourse with. They are lawful for you, those who your right hand possess from what Allah has returned to you of captives, and the daughters of your paternal uncles, and the daughters of your maternal aunts, and the daughters of your maternal uncles, and the daughters of your maternal aunts who migrated with you. So what is this saying? It's saying you can marry your maternal cousins, and you can marry your paternal cousins. This is written expressly in the Quran. Okay, so if you're looking for cousin marriage in the Quran, this is the wonderful scripture that makes it lawful, right? And then you also have when it has to do with marriage, right? When it has to do with marriage, like I said in the last live stream, you also have uh, you also have this is not the verse in the Quran. I don't know. I think it's 24, but let me be sure that it is 24, not okay. So you also have Surah 4 verse 24 that lists whom you can marry and who you cannot marry. You say, and all married women are forbidden unto you, save those captives whom your right hand possess. So from Surah 4 verse 24, a Muslim is not supposed to marry a married woman or have sexual intercourse with a married woman. But if she is a slave whom the Muslim has captured in battle, even if her husband is alive, it doesn't matter. She becomes lawful for the Muslim man. It is a decree of Allah for you. Lawful unto you are all beyond those mentioned, right? Lawful unto you are all beyond those mentioned, so that ye seek them with your wealth in honest wedlock, not debauchery. Blah 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 blah. This is not the verse I'm looking for, but it's interesting that we saw it. I'm looking for 28, not 28, 29. What? Just give me a second. Well, it looks like this what's it called? This website just became unavailable, which is interesting. It's unavailable like Davido. Guys, give me a second. It's about to rain here, and I need to do something quickly. Okay, just I'll be with you guys shortly. Just hang on for like 5 minutes, and I'll be back. Did you guys see the name of the Wi-Fi that I use? Funny names that I use for my Wi-Fi. Yeah. I have Wi-Fi that goes by accept virus and buy data. Interesting names that I name my Wi-Fi. I had to switch network from one network to another because it's about to rain, and my Starlink network usually fluctuates when it starts raining. I don't know if you guys can pick the rain from the microphone, but it's about to rain. It's already raining slightly. Anyway, so yeah, we're back. Let me see if this website that we were using is now available. Okay, it is available now. It is available now. All right. So let's this is the verse of the Quran that I was looking for. Forbidden unto you are your mothers and your daughters and your sisters and your father's sisters and your mother's sisters and your mother and your brother's daughters and your sister's daughters and your fostered mothers and your foster sisters and your mother-in-law and your stepdaughters who are under your protection, born of your women unto whom you have gone in. But if you have, then there are a couple of exceptions. So you get the gist. This verse lists people that are forbidden, and as you can see here, children are not mentioned, right? It is not forbidden. You not say you are forbidden from you are for you. It is forbidden for you to marry children, but it's not sufficient to base solely on this verse. Say, oh, child marriage is allowed in Islam, right? You have to go to Surah 65. Beautiful Surah 65, verse 4. That is where we get, the endorsement, the halalification of child marriage. And for such of your women as despair of menstruation, if you doubt, your period of waiting shall be 3 months, along with those who have it not. I remember what we talked about those who have it not being prepubescent girls. We saw all the tafsirs or tafsir. How do they even pronounce it? Anyways, we saw the Muslim commentaries on this verse that shows that This is talking about prepubescent girls. It is established, right? Let's look at some of them again, just so that we remember, because I don't know if some of the people who are with us, we are there when we talked about this. So just so we bring everybody up to speed, right, about what we are talking about. Let's see. I think this is it. All right, I think this is it. So, okay, this is the commentaries that talk about it. This site has the list of, so you can see this is list of Muslim commentaries that talk about it. Commentary 1, talking about who are those who have it not, and those who have it not, their waiting period is 3 months. Okay, this does not tell us. Okay, those who have it not because they are not old enough, not reached puberty, and there are those who have not yet menstruated, maids and young girls who did not menstruate yet, and they had intercourse. And God made His mercy also on the ones who did not menstruate, the young girls, 3 months. And this is Al-Bukhari, respected, renowned Al-Bukhari, talking about this. What, in essence, there is this verse telling Muslims about the Ida period, the waiting period between when a woman divorces her previous husband and gets married to the next husband, right? So you have Ida prescribed in Surah 2. You have Ida prescribed in a Surah, I think, what's the next Surah where it is prescribed? You have Ida prescribed in Surah 2. You have Ida prescribed in Surah 33, verse 49. And then you have the third Ida prescribed, or the third prescription, coming from Surah 65, verse 4. So in Surah 2, verse 228, you are told that every woman, if you get married to a woman and you want to divorce the woman, and you've divorced the woman is to wait 3 menstrual courses before she can remarry. Surah 33, verse 49 tells us that if you get married to a woman, right, and you are yet to consummate the marriage, that means you are yet to have intercourse with her, that you don't know Ida is required. So this is somebody you've married and you're yet to have intercourse with. So if that is the case, no Ida is required, right? You don't need Ida. She doesn't need to wait. She can just go ahead and get married. So it tells us that scripture, that passage of the Quran, let us know that the Ida has to do with intercourse. So Ida is for women who are in a marriage that has been consummated, where penetrative sex have occurred, right? Where if a woman is in a marriage where penetrative sex has occurred, then the Ida is for her. If she's not in such a relationship, then there is no need for an Ida, right? So when Surah 65 verse 4 talks about Ida for prepubescent girls, it is saying that it is okay in Islam to marry, consummate, and divorce a prepubescent girl before she even sees her first period. I think that is pretty clear. Pretty clear. Okay? If you want to get the full gist, you can just go back to the live stream and get everything. But I hope I've given a sufficient summary, right, of what the great Quran, right, the final speech of Allah, has to say about, child marriage. But today we are going to be looking at what the Muslim authorities over time, the 4 or 3, I'm not sure now, the schools of jurisprudence in Islam, what they have to say about child marriage. That's what we are going to be looking at. Okay, that's what we are going to be looking at. This is from a website called Wiki Islam, and everything that is written here is accompanied with sources, reliable sources. So we'll be appealing to what is written here. All right. And they try as much as possible to represent every view on the subject matter. So it is they won't be accused of bias. And I don't think this is an unbiased, this is a false or biased representation of what is obtainable in Islam. Okay. So this is from Wiki Islam, and they are, of course, in this article, a couple of statements and declarations from imams, notable imams and sheikhs and what have you, presented here. And from there, we are going to know what Islam has to say or not Islam, Sharia law has to say about child marriage. And some of the things are very interesting. Okay, very interesting. I may be making jokes, but it does not mean that I consider this funny. Okay, I'm just trying to make light of. I'm just saying it moving forward. I've not done it already, but now I'm about to do it. Okay, I may make jokes about some of the things we're about to read, but just know it's not like I'm not taking the matter seriously. It's just we cannot all just be gloomy and sad while we are looking at this very despicable thing. That's not the aim. Okay, so let's try and make it palatable. So that's what I'll be trying to do. Okay, so this article starts by saying, let me make it big enough so everybody can see it. 2 books by academic authors are particularly notable on the topic. One is Slavery and Marriage in Islam by Professor Kisha Ali, and Minor Marriage in Early Islamic Law by Professor Caroline Bogg. A large set of translated quotes from various well-known exegetical and jurist texts relating to this matter is also available online. Okay, I think I'll try as much as possible after the end of this live stream because sometimes I say this and I don't end up doing it, but I'll try to make sure I do it this time, to put links to some of the materials that are used in the description, so people can go and read for themselves and see for a fact that what is being stated here are indeed true. Okay, so Kesha Ali gives the following overview on the area of juristic agreement and disagreements regarding compulsion. That's compulsion, forced marriage for children, right? So what is the overview, the point of agreement and disagreement? Here it is said, for free females, both virginity and majority, both virginity and majority were of concerns. Fathers could compel marriage of daughters who were both virgins and minors. On the flip side, those who were neither virgins nor minors could not be compelled, but had to give their spoken consent to any proposed marriage. The intermediate category, daughters who were neither virgins nor minors, but not both, were subject of disagreement. So the point of agreement in Islam or the school of jurisprudence in Islam, both Sunnis and Shias, is this: that when it comes to child marriage, a father can compel her daughter, who is a minor and who is a virgin, to get married. If the child is a minor and if the child is a virgin, the father can compel her to get married. Okay? If she is not a minor nor a virgin, she cannot be compelled, right? She cannot be compelled. Instead, she has to give a spoken consent to any proposed marriage. So that's the general rule, according to Ali. The general rule is this, right? And Rolling Boggs similarly explained that there were some solutions in which, according to different schools of jurisprudence, consent to be given in marriage might or might not be required, right? The virgin pubescent and non-virgin prepubescent. In which consent to be given in marriage might or might not be. So where the point of disagreement is what can a father compel her daughter who is pubescent but still a virgin? Can he compel her to get married, right? If she's still a virgin but she has already reached puberty, can a father compel the daughter to get married? And if she's a non-virgin, right, but she's a prepubescent, can the father compel her to get married? Now you might be wondering, as you are reading this, how can a prepubescent girl be a non-virgin? Okay, the solution, the answer to that is simple. She has been in a marriage and she has been divorced. That is how a prepubescent can be a non-virgin. In that instance, where she's no longer a virgin, she has been through her first marriage, can the father still compel her into a second marriage? That is what this question, that's where the bone of contention is in Islam. These are the kind of things, jurists in Islamic in Islamic legal system. These are the questions that they are trying to solve, right? These are the serious issues that they are trying to to resolve and come to, you know, a conclusion about, you know, can a girl who is 8 years old and has not had her first period and has, you know, just ended her first relationship, can her father compare her into a second relationship? This is a very difficult subject matter. How do we come to this how do we decide, you know, how do we decide if it is possible for the father to compare her to get married again? Is this not beautiful, guys? Is this not, doesn't this make you like want to convert? Like, as you're reading this now, doesn't this make you like, this is why I should consider Islam. This is why Islam is great, powerful, you know, something that I should consider. You know, I think I'm feeling the same way. Anyways, let's continue. Let's skip a little bit. In his book, The Distinguished Jurist Premier, which is available in English translation, this person wrote a detailed description of the point of agreement and difference between the school of jurisprudence regarding the right of marital consent for girls who have reached majority or are still minors, and for girls who are virgins or non-virgins. He states, they all arrived at the consensus that fathers can force a non-majority virgin and that he cannot force a divorced majority woman. Alhamdulillah. Except for isolated instances of disagreements in this, let me read that again. They arrived at the consensus that the father can force a non-majority. By majority, it means a prepubescent virgin. They decide to put the Arabic here. And I'm not going to go through the horror of trying to learn how to pronounce it. A prepubescent virgin, the father can force her to into marriage, but he cannot force a divorced majority woman. Okay, so the agreement is the father can force a virgin who is a minor, but he cannot force a divorced woman who is no longer a minor, except for isolated incidences of disagreement in this, as we have indicated, according to this jurist. Right? According to Kesha Ali, Islamic jurists consider the Quranic concept of majority. Islamic jurists consider that the Islamic concept of majority was usually constituted by puberty, normally Banaki for a girl, and first nocturnal emission for a boy, though other signs of physical maturity could be taken into account. In the context of marriage, majority was when a son can contract his own marriage, as also the case with daughters, according to the Hanafi school. That's the majority. As mentioned above, the word majority as well. Okay, let's skip that. The Encyclopedia of Unanimous Islamic Rulings says scholars have unanimously agreed that it is permissible for a father to marry off his minor daughter without her consent. It lists 14 classic scholars who reported the consensus as this, such as this person who said scholars have unanimously agreed that a father can marry off his minor daughter without consenting with her. The encyclopedia explained the basis for this consensus. Allah said, and those who no longer expect menstruation amongst your women, if you doubt, then their period is 3 months, and also those who have not menstruated. Quran 65 verse 4. This verse says that the iddah for those who haven't menstruated is 3 months, and since that the iddah is only prescribed in the case of divorce, this proves that she can marry and get divorced. Marrying her off before puberty is allowed, her consent is neglected. 2. Aisha said, Allah's messenger married me when I was 6 years old and consummated his marriage when I was 9. Muhammad's companion, this person, married his daughter, this person, when she was born. So the daughter of this man was married when she was born, that young. He said, if I die, then my daughter, then the daughter of this person will inherit me. If I live, then she will be my wife. That is what is in the hadith. Then 4, Ali, Muhammad's cousin and 4th rightly guided caliph, married off his minor daughter to Umar, the 2nd rightly guided caliph. So based on the practice of Muhammad and the practice of his companions, the rightly guided caliph, it is concluded that A prepubescent girl can get married and be divorced, and coupled with what is available in Surah 65, right? Based on that, and based on what Muhammad did, and based on what his companions did, right? You can marry a prepubescent girl and get her divorced, and you can marry her off before puberty. It is allowed, and you don't need her consent. Three things: a prepubescent girl can be married off, divorced, and she can be married before she hits puberty. It is allowed, and her consent is not needed. Remember those people who always tell us about how it is consensual? I saw it like when I posted this on my community notes. One of the comments was like, I hope you are going to mention that it is consensual. Yeah, no, I'm not going to mention it because that's a big, fat lie. It is not consensual. Consent is not required when you are marrying off a prepubescent girl, and this is what is stipulated in every. This is the agreement, the point of agreement in every Islamic school of Sharia, Islamic school of jurisprudence, right? Every school of Sharia law. This is their point of agreement. They all agree about this. It is not up for debate. Why Muslim preachers and what have you in the West can engage in takia and whatever it is they want to do for the sake of evangelism, and tell you that well, it's a child marriage and this and this and this and this and this, and come up with, let's be rest. If you encounter any of them, tell them, ask them, what does the school of Sharia law have, all the available schools of Sharia law, what do they have to say about this? The schools of jurisprudence in Islam, what do they have to say about child marriage? Is there any school that exists that says you cannot marry off a prepubescent girl and that her consent is required, or any of the stories that you people come up with? Is there any school of jurisprudence that agree with you? The answer is no. There is none. Okay. Ryan Parry said, sorry, let me bring my mask. Ryan Parry said, sorry, says 6 years old can't consent. So if you're talking about 6 years old, right? But this guy over here, this person here, what is it? This person, yeah, this person married off her daughter when she was born. When she was born, a father can marry off a day old. A day old. Now we're not talking about consummation, okay? But we are talking about marriage. A day old can be married off. We are still going to come to consummation, and you'll see some of the rulings when it has to do with consummation and how horrible they are. They are horrible, guys. They are horrible. Some of the rulings when it has to do with consummating the marriage. Granted, we are not talking about consummation of marriage, and you can make the case that in Europe, in Europe they also arrange marriages like that. There were people who their marriage were arranged even before they were born. Okay, fine, fair enough. But I want to ask the Muslims who come up with this who come up with this objection. I want to ask them a very important question. What is the standard for the moral standard in Islam? Like, or as a Muslim, what do you see? Do you consider child marriage to be moral or immoral? And is the morality of child marriage based on what is obtainable in other cultures? Is the morality of child marriage based on what is available in marriage laws in the United States or marriage practices in the UK? Like, that people in the UK and people in the West can look at a law and objectively say that law is wrong. Okay? But you cannot do the same. And you're like, the justification for the existence of child marriage in the Quran, the final speech of Allah, is the justification for it is that it is available in other customs. That is other imperfect customs, by the way. You're talking about imperfect customs, imperfect history, imperfect laws, imperfect. All of them are imperfect. And we as human beings can look at them and say, these are imperfect laws. We recognize their imperfection. But you say your scripture is the perfect scripture of the perfect in all this, in all aspects. Perfect, complete, straight from God himself. But when you want to justify it, you do whataboutism with imperfect laws. What is the standard unit of measurement here? Is it what ideal perfection should look like, or or what is available in other imperfect societies that you will call kufars? Okay, societies you call infidels. If the infidels have imperfect laws, is that the justification for the imperfection that is in your own law, handed over to you by Almighty Allah Himself? But apparently, it is obvious that Muslims are, many of them, not most of them, are physically incapable of thinking that far. So yeah, Ryan, 6 years old don't need to consent. They don't need, in fact, children, babies are being married off in Islam. Consent is not required. You know, why you have societies in the West that have stopped some of this practice, banned some of this practice, try to, strive towards, making perfect laws. You have Islam sticking to 7th century way of life and justifying it based on, other customs have it. Interesting. Here it is stated that modernist scholars argue that there is a clear bias in hadith for consulting women before contracting them in marriage, regardless of age. And they say, see this article for more details. Anyway, we are not going to look into that article. Leave the modernist and the revisionist. That's not people we are addressing. We are looking at today. We're looking at what has always been, based on what is in the complete, non-malleable, amendable law of Allah. Okay. All right. When it comes to consummation of marriage in Islamic law, what is that obtainable? What do we have what do we find when it comes to consummation? We are getting to the part where penetrative sex is involved, where it gets really, really, really stomach turning. Okay, so please, if you are eating something, stop. Okay, it's about to get ugly. It's about to get ugly. But before we get to that, let me see what some of you are saying in the comments. Let's get to the comments. First, we start with the super chat. Before that, Jazz has gifted another 5.9. In fact, 10 is what she has given. This is 5 once and 5 again. And I mean, she has done 20 at this point. So, guys, you know what to do. The clapping emoji in the comments. Quickly. Make it snappy. Just, I really, really appreciate your support for this channel. It is remarkable. It is really, really remarkable. And she said, the Quran is just justification for degenerate, evil pedophiles and their disgusting fetishes. Exactly. That is what you find in the Quran. Valid everything reprehensible that men have. One thing about Islam is that it doesn't outlaw evil, immoral behavior. It make it halal. Like, it finds a way to, it gives you a prescription of how to go ahead in doing it. Okay, so why you have Christianity saying a man should have one wife, right? Christianity like a man should have one wife. Islam like, okay, you can have one wife if you cannot take care of 4. That's what Islam says. One wife is fine, but if you can take care of many and you can love them very well and you can give them basic whatever, you can have 4. And then Christianity is like, God hates divorce. Okay, what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. And Islam is like, well, you can divorce her if you just say, I divorce you 4 times. You can divorce her, and then here's the prescription of how to go ahead with divorce. Okay, and it's just the kind of thing you find. It doesn't outlaw anything that is reprehensible, but tells you, the Bible is like, thou shalt not kill, and Islam is like, okay, well, you can kill. You should not kill your fellow Muslim, but if he's not a Muslim, fair game. Go ahead and kill. So that's kind of what you find in the Quran. It's like it gives you is how to sin 101. This is how to sin. If you want to be immoral, this is how to do it. That is what the Quran and Islam does. Gives you a manual, gives you guideline, gives you guideline. This is how you do it. If you do it like this, then Allah is exalted. Just said Momo was deranged, possessed, syphilistic, small membered man. Man, you have more as in compliments for Muhammad than I can imagine. Jonathan said, is how to sin 101. Exactly. It's just how to be a despicable person. Here's the guideline. We'll give you a manual how to every imaginable. Okay, yeah, there are some evil things that they say don't do at all. But most of them they're like, okay, this is the style. This is how you go ahead to do it. Don't sleep with women who are not married. Don't commit adultery with don't commit adultery at all. But if you capture somebody, if you capture a woman in war and she's married and her husband is alive, you can have sex with her while her husband is alive. You can commit adultery if you engage in jihad and you capture a woman in the process. Is that not fantastic? This is Islam is like, oh, adultery is bad. The Quran says you should not commit adultery, except there is always under this circumstance, evil is permitted. So it gives you a guideline, right? You should not kill, except you should not do this, except. So that's how you know that it is surely from the Most High, surely from a morally superior being. Okay, that is how you know that this is coming straight from the Creator himself. Yeah. So Ryan Paris said, Sharia is a series of laws that enable men to release their lust in a halal way. Exactly. Halal certified way to be reprehensible, essentially. All right, so let's look at consummation of marriage, of child marriage. I like how they said such marriage in Islamic law, in Sharia law. Okay, Ruben Levi, who was professor of Persia in Cambridge University, writes, no age limit has been fixed in Islam for marriage, and quite young girls may be legally married, although a girl is not handed over to her husband until she is fit for marital congress. Now, it is important to emphasis is on the word fit and what determines fit. Okay, so keep that in mind. The Hanafites, the Hanafite legal code lay down that a wife must not be taken into her husband's house until she reaches the condition of fitness, until she reaches that condition, which is the condition of being fit, right? In case of dispute on the matter between the husband and the bride's father or bride's, what is wali now? I don't know if it is, whatever it is. I think is the bride's father. Oh, I don't know what wali is. Jesus Christ, I don't know what it is. Who is her nearest male kinsman or her guardian? Okay, that's what wali is. The guardian or whoever. The person is to be informed, and he is to appoint 2 matrons to examine the girl and report on her physical readiness for marriage. If they decide that she is too young, she must return to her husband's house until she is declared fit. So 2 matrons are going to be appointed. They are going to check the lady, and then they are going to come to the conclusion of whether she is fit or not. As you can see, this is a very perfect, wonderful, sensible, reasonable system, right? That's according to the Hanafites. This is not all school of jurisprudence, by the way. This is just the Hanafites or the Abu Hanifa, right? Jurists generally discuss the age of marital consummation in context of maintenance payments from the husband to the wife, which we are linked to her availability, for intercourse. Okay, what this means is that before a man can pay the maintenance, like when you marry a woman, you have to pay for her upkeep, right? For a man to pay for the upkeep of his wife, it is dependent on if she is available for intercourse, right? If she is not available for intercourse, then the man, according to the Hanafi school or the Hanafi school or the Abu Hanifa, whatever. For the man to pay for for the wife's upkeep, it is based on if he is allowed, if the woman is available for intercourse. If she's not available for intercourse, then he doesn't get to pay maintenance fee. So the wife is going to be under the care of her father or under the care of no one until she is available for intercourse. Now, under that system, what if you now so imagine now that you live in a society where the father of the girl is poor, and the reason why the father of the girl is marrying off her daughter is because he wants to lessen the financial burden that he has to bear, right? What do you think there's what, and that's the reason why this man is marrying off his prepubescent daughter. You think he's going to wait and be like, okay, let us be sure that she's fit and all what? No, he's going to say, take this girl. She's available for sexual penetration. I don't care. That is what is going to happen, and that is what happens. I mean, we've reacted to so many of these videos, right? That is what end up happening, right? The prepubescent girl is released, and because if that is not the case, the maintenance fee is not going to be paid. But of course, this is the perfect law of Allah. Of course, this is perfect, and anything you find in the West or any other society is imperfect, and they have no right to criticize this, very perfect law of Allah, right? So for Hanafis, a prepubescent wife is not entitled to maintenance from her pubescent husband until maturity, for the withholding of intercourse is from her, not from him. So, okay, you need to understand that it's not about whether the man is actually having sex with the woman. It's if the woman is available for it that is the determining factor. So it's not like, oh, I'm paying you because no, the man may not be having sex with her, but if she's available for sexual intercourse, he has to pay for her he has to pay her maintenance fee. Let me use that. I don't know how else to call it, that maintenance fee. Okay, for the Malik school, the age of intercourse is again significantly due to its determination when a man must start paying his wife, his young wife's maintenance. For the Malik, the male's age of intercourse was the onset of nocturnal emission. So for the male child, once he's able to, nocturnal emission, he's available for intercourse. For females, it is when she has come of age and could tolerate intercourse with a man. So it is not for the Malik school, it is not puberty. It is not puberty. It is when, which is the same thing that we find in the the Hanafi school. Is she fit? Can she be declared fit? And for the Malik, they're like, what? She's fit if she can tolerate penetration. Very soon, we are also going to understand what they mean by tolerating penetration. It's very important. If she can tolerate penetration, then she's going to be married off. Okay? Now, notice that nobody is talking, there's no mention of mental preparedness, mental maturity. Some preachers in the West say, oh, she has to be physically and mentally ready. Have we read anything here about mental prepare? Have you seen any school that say, oh, we have to mention that she has to be mentally ready? No, there's no mention of mental readiness. Everything is purely physical. It's about the girl's ability, fitness, physical fitness for sexual intercourse. For the Malik, can she bear the burden of sexual penetration? And we will know what that means very soon. For this school, I don't know when they put comma before the I don't know how it is pronounced. Anyway, for this school, consummation is discussed in the context of course, it is. You can see that for almost all the schools, it is based on the maintenance fee. A process is envisioned in which he is permitted to visit his wife, and eventually she reaches an age when she can visit him and intercourse normally occurs. You know what they're trying to say here? For this school, a process is envisioned in which the man is permitted to visit his wife. And eventually she reaches an age where she can visit him. And now the actual intercourse can happen. So for this school of jurisprudence, let's read further before I explain to you guys what they are trying to say. They further imply that intercourse is permitted before the wife has reached puberty. I don't know if they are the first to imply that. It's already something that we can apply from what we've read previously, but fine. They further imply that intercourse is permitted before the wife has reached puberty, though the husband must from that time pay maintenance even if he chooses to wait longer. So if a man has sexual intercourse with his wife for the first time and she's yet to reach puberty, and then after that intercourse, he decides, you know what, I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to have intercourse with this woman again. He's still going to pay the maintenance fee. Okay. But let's read it in how it is written, how they declared it. If a man is contractually married to a woman upon the like of whom the sexual act can be performed, even if she's not pubescent, and she allowed him to visit with her, or her family allowed them to be together, and she is not prevented from visiting him, he must pay. So you can see from here that, anyway, you can already see what can already be said. Let us read another declaration. Our opinion is other than this. If she reaches 9 years old and does not possess the body and strength to tolerate a man, her family may keep her away from him. And if she is not yet 9 and she possesses the body and strength that will tolerate a man, they should not keep her away from him. If the bride is husky and others of her type tolerate sexual intercourse, it means they should be allowed to be together. If she cannot tolerate that, then her family should prevent her until she can tolerate sex. So this school is then the child doesn't even have to reach the age of 9, right? If she's before 9, even if she's 9 and she cannot tolerate it and she looks lanky and she does not look big enough, then she should not be given over to the man. But if she's even below 9 and she looks, what determines that for them is, does she look big? Is the lady fat? Does she look fat? Does she look fit? Does she look, yes, these people are looking at children lesser than 8. These people are looking at girls that are younger than 8, and they are looking based on the size of these women, the body size of these women, if they can oh God. If they can endure sexual penetration. That is what a society is doing. They are looking at children less than 9 and they're like, can we? Oh God. Wow, this is fantabulous. This is fantabulous, guys. This is fantabulous. This is wonderful. This is incredible. Of course, you can see that this is the beauty of Islam, the exceedingly great and remarkable and impressive and the undeniable, right? Undeniable beauty of Islam. Like right now, I'm ready to convert. Like I'm ready. Like what do I have to do? What do I have to do? I'm ready. I'm ready, guys. Let's do this. Let's declare that there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is indeed his messenger. Takbir! Allahu Akbar. Wow. So yeah, they are looking at girls that are younger than 9 and they are trying to determine, does she look plump? Does she look fat? Does she look like she can tolerate this man's Wow. Okay. Moving on. This person noted on the same page regarding the translated word husk. Although semantically, this word indicates large or fat. The idea is clearly to depict a girl with a bigger, more sexually developed body. What do they mean by sexually developed body? Can you imagine you're talking about a child and you're saying using words like sexually developed body? In Islam, you have to think of sexually developed body when you're talking about children. Yeah. Although, as he noted, or she or they noted or pointed out, these scholars do not suggest Aisha had this physical state at 9. It may be relevant to point out that isolated fatwas have occasionally linked this concept to a hadith which states that Muhammad's mother fattened her up before she was handed over to Muhammad at the age of 9. And I want us to read this. This hadith. Okay? It was not. I want to know if it is Sahih. What is the grade? It's not mentioned. It's not. It's not mentioned. Anyways, it was. I don't know why they didn't mention if it is Sahih in this. Why? Why not tell us if it is Sahih? Because somebody will tell me it is Hassan. It is. It is. It is. It is. It is weak. It's Daif. Or Daif. It was narrated that Aisha said, "My mother was trying to fatten me up when she wanted to send me to the Messenger of Allah. But nothing worked until I ate cucumber with dates. Then I grew plump, like the best kind of plump. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah." Here's another hadith regarding this from Sunan Abu Dawood. And yeah, we don't know if it is what it is graded. Anyways, my mother intended to make me gain weight to send me to the house of the Messenger of Allah. But nothing which she desires benefited me until she gave me cucumbers with fresh dates to eat. Then I gained as much weight as she desired. So this is the secret to gaining weight: eating cucumbers and cucumbers and fresh dates. Okay, cucumbers and fresh dates. So let me pronounce it the way Americans do, for to make fun of my Nigerian pronunciation. Anyway, this is the next school. Now, this school alludes to Aisha's age of 9 at her marital consummation as the age at which orphans may be married and consummated, and the age at which a father must seek his daughter's permission before contracting a marriage. The later school further cites this opinion, which he says is based on the marriage of Aisha, that if a husband requests his minor spouse, she must be given to him if she has reached the age of 9. His family cannot keep her from him after the age of 9. This person himself, cautious of the risk of fistula, tearing of the wall between the vagina and the back passage, said if of fistula. Oh, let me read this. This person is himself cautious of the risk of fistula if the girl is still small. If she fears this, he says she may refuse intercourse and let her husband. Okay, this is the part that I think is very interesting. In fact, let me read this whole paragraph again because I don't think I read it. I'm reading it well. Okay. So this school alludes to Aisha's age of 9 at her marital consummation as the age at which orphans may be married and consummated, and the age at which a father must seek his daughter's permission before contracting a marriage. So if a child is lesser than 9, the father cannot compel her. According to this school, if a child is less than 9, the father cannot compel her to get married, right? They have to seek her consent once she's 9 and above. But if she's less than 9, then consent is required. That is what this school is saying. And also for orphans, the age of 9, if an orphan girl is at the age of 9, she can be married off. She's matured, right? Because I think orphans, if you fear that you will not treat them well, blah, 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 you read the whole thing in Surah 4 verse 6. Anyways, so that is the ruling here. And then the school that developed from this school cited this school in their opinion, and they based it on the marriage of Aisha, that if a husband requests his minor spouse, she must be given to him if she has reached the age of 9. So if a lady is married, if a girl, is married before the age of 9 to her husband, the husband doesn't have the right to go in, and do the deal with the wife, with the child bride. But once she's 9, he cannot be denied. According to this school, he cannot be denied. He must be granted his spouse. Okay, sexual availability is determined by the age 9. Okay, this might look terrible, but in all fairness, at least they picked an age, right? They said this age is the age. Okay. So her family cannot keep her from him after the age of 9. Now, this jurist was cautious of the risk of fistula if the girl is still small. And then he said, if she fears that him, penetrating her, sexually penetrating her is going to cause fistula, then she may refuse intercourse and let her husband take pleasure from her in other ways. Anyways, the same jurist is commonly cited by Saudi scholars for their views on minor marriage. He cited consensus on his father's right to compel his virgin daughter into a marriage contract, like so many other earlier scholars in his view. Basing it on the Ida period in Surah 65 verse 4 as proof that prepubescent females could be married and divorced with consideration of their without consideration of their wishes. He also cites that the marriage of Aisha and some marriage of the companions, justifies this. Regarding when a bride should be delivered and consummation should take place, this scholar appeals to the culture and the family's judgment. He also quotes this person who points out that girls are different and the possibility of sex with a prepubescent female rather, depends on her condition and what she can tolerate. So there it is, guys. There it is. There it is. Let's read what later scholars have to say. Regarding the timing of marriage of a minor and the consummation of her marriage, if the husband and the minor and the minor's legal guardian both agree on something that doesn't harm the minor, then it is done. If they disagree, Ahmed, the imam of the 4 major legal schools in Sunni Islam, said that she is forced to be wed at the age of 9. Malik and Al-Shafi and Abu Hanifa, the remaining 3 imams, said the timing is when she's capable of enduring sexual penetration, which differ from one person to another and can't be determined by age. So 3 of the schools were like, oh, it cannot be determined by age, and one is that they're saying, oh, 9. Once it's 9, give her over. Right? And this scholar is saying the 3 are correct. I hold the correct view, and the other one does not. Another scholar in his book said it is possible to have sex with a prepubescent girl, a prepubescent virgin, meaning there is no specific age. Every person is different, and it is not required for her to reach puberty because a man can receive full pleasure if the girl can endure sex. Powerful. This scholar, what's his name now? You can see his name here. Let me not even try to pronounce it. A minor who can't endure sex, meaning the husband isn't obliged to provide for her whether she's living with him or not. Blah blah. They have said that the husband is actually obliged to provide for her. It is not okay. Where is the part about it? Okay, I don't have the patience. A fatwa collection by the Ministry of Religious Endowments and Islamic Affairs in Kuwait includes the following fatwa, though, like some other isolated fatwas on a similar nature, it does not seem consistent with earlier jurisprudence discussed above in the book by this person. Question: is it allowed to marry a suckling baby? And is it allowed to pleasure? Okay. Is it allowed to marry a suckling baby? And is it allowed to pleasure myself with her by kissing her and doing other unharmful acts, excluding sex? So this is a fatwa, an isolated fatwa. And this is what the reply is. Answer: if the marriage contract fulfills the Islamic legal requirements, and then she's considered to be his wife in all respect, and he's allowed to look at her, touch her, and kiss her, he's not allowed to have sex with her until she can endure sex without causing any harm. Let us read this again, so in case some of you don't understand what we are talking about. This is a fatwa, right? And here's the question that this fatwa is trying to answer. Question: is it allowed to marry a suckling baby? And is it allowed to pleasure myself with her by kissing her and doing other unharmful acts, excluding sex? Use your imagination, okay? Answer: if the marriage contract fulfills the Islamic legal requirement. Now, we are talking about the marriage contract. That means if they are legally married, then she's considered to be the wife of the man in all regards, and he is allowed to look at her. Imagine what look at her means. God. Touch her, Imagine what touch her means. I'm telling you, this is not talking about shaking hands, okay? This has nothing to do with shaking hands, okay? You're not talking about shaking her hand, okay? And the kiss her here is not just, oh, you're kissing a baby, pecking a baby. No, this is not what this is about, okay? Use your imagination. He's not allowed to have sex with her until she can endure by sex, sexual penetration, until she can endure sex without causing her any harm. And by harm, they're talking about fistula. Everything they've said about harm here is that if the man can penetrate this woman without causing a tear, without causing fistula, then he should go ahead and do it. That is all the concern. The only concern that Islam has for consummating marriage with a prepubescent girl is fistula. Not fistula from childbirth, fistula from the penetration. Namaste. Frank, calm down. Frank, calm down. Woo! Let me center my chakra. This is interesting. Ah, God. So that is the beautiful reality of child marriage in Islam. That is the beauty. That is the awesomeness. Yeah. It's really interesting. Really interesting. Really interesting. Anika is saying, I don't feel old enough for this conversation. How old are you, Anika? How old are you? Because if you are a child, if you are prepubescent, unlike Muhammad, we have age restriction. We have age restriction. If you are prepubescent, you shouldn't be watching this live stream, please. You should not. You should not, please. This is not wow. So guys, this is what we find in the perfect law of Almighty Allah. And as we already know, there is nothing wrong. Anybody who has a problem with this, they are the problem. Islam is not the problem. Okay, if you look at this and you say this is bad, you, my friend, are the problem. Right? Islam is not the problem. It is you. It is you. You are the problem. You should check yourself. There is nothing wrong with what we have read. This is perfectly halal. Muhammad did it. The perfect man. Okay. Surah 33 tells us that this is the perfect example for all Muslims. His companions did it. So, mortal man, who are you to object to what Allah has permitted? What Allah has permitted, no man should restrict. Alhamdulillah. When people tell you about beauty of Islam, keep this in mind. This is what they mean. Okay? This is what they mean. This is what they are talking about. Let us look at some wonderful Muslim. I believe the Muslim speakers, give us their wonderful justification of what we just looked at, and you will see that they are making a lot of sense, a whole lot of sense. And this is the famous Ali Dawa, right? Of course, when you look at his face, everything you're about to hear is brilliant and intelligent. And yeah. So of course, this is a short, so he may not, fully encapsulate all his logical argument, but the highlights are in this shot. And this is not me who made the shot; he made the shot. So if I'm taking him out of context, he's the one who made it possible. So let's listen to this.
I believe the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, married Aisha at 6 and he consummated the marriage at 9. I have zero problem with that at all.
At all, zero problem. You've, of course, what is when as he said it, I'm like, what can, guys? What can be wrong? Let us go back again and listen to what Anitawa is saying. What can be wrong? What can be wrong with it? What? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This is okay. This is perfect. Okay.
I believe the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, married Aisha at 6 and he consummated the marriage at 9. I have zero problem with that at all, as long as we understand why that happened.
Oh, they even had the Muslim music soundtrack at the background. So you know that this is powerful stuff you're about to hear. Once anything is accompanied by this sound from Muslims, well, if it's the wisdom becomes apparent, it becomes manifest, right? You see it and you're like, wow, this is it. So guys, be ready. This is it comes with music, okay? It comes with music. So let's start all over again. So I just want to hear that beginning part over and over again.
I believe the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, married Aisha at 6 and he consummated the marriage at 9. I have zero problem with that at all, as long as we understand why that happened.
You need to understand why it happened. There is a why. Okay, the why is not that Allah allowed it, and and Muhammad is a pedophile, obviously. Which is not a bad. Is a bad thing to be a pedophile? If Allah says it's okay, who are you to say it is not?
And we look into why he married her and so many things about his character. I've spoken to non-Muslims in the park and they've asked me this question. Wallahi, after I've broken it down, they said, that makes sense.
Yeah. You see, he goes to speaker's corner, explains this to non-Muslims, and every single one of them, without an exception, I don't even need it to be explained to me because I already see the wisdom. Okay, but foolish people, who fail to see it, sometimes they need Alidawa to explain it to them, and after explaining to them, their brain is just explodes with, wow, this kind of wisdom, I've never seen anything like it, right? So yeah, when he does the explanation, they're like, wow, this makes sense. Oh, now I want to even go and marry a 6-year-old and consummate the marriage when she's 9. Why am I not doing this? Finally, when Alidawa explains it to these people, they finally realize what is really missing in their life: a child bride, right? Powerful stuff.
So if it's from this angle, okay, we understand why he did that. Because in the UK, for example, 100 years ago, in William Blackstone's book, he talks about British common law. Girls were betrothed at the age of 7 in the UK 100 years ago.
This guy, betrothals was common for 7-year-olds. 100 years ago, people can look. People, even in there are certain customs where betrothal was happening even before the child was born. They're like, if it's a man, this is who he's going to marry. If it's a girl, if it's a guy, if it's a male child, this is who they are going to get married to. If it's a female child, betrothal is not the issue. Of course, there's a problem with that. It is bad. It is wrong. Okay. Now, everyone who is listening to him does not understand that this is not just Muhammad, but this is Sharia law. So in your mind, you're like, okay, he's trying to justify what Muhammad did, not knowing that this is beyond just what Muhammad did in the 7th century. This is something that is permissible today. We're talking about what is permissible today. When I talk about child marriage in Islam, my criticism is not just, if this guy is your perfect example for all mankind, then why did he marry a child? No, that is not my objection to it. It's that this is applicable today. Let us leave whether Muhammad did the right thing or whether he did not do the right thing in the 7th century conversation. Let us leave that. Let's talk about what is applicable and obtainable today in the Islamic world. In what Sharia law has to say today. Let's leave all those 7th century talk. Let's talk about 2024. In 2024, is it unlawful for Alidawa to be betrothed to a 6-year-old without her consent? And can he consummate that marriage when the girl is 9? Answer: yes.
Forget 1400 years ago, 100 years ago. What we're saying is this: No one ever used this argument against the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, ever. This was something that was,
and of course, yeah, because no one was opposed to it back then. So, why are we opposed to it now? I mean, if you're not opposed to, one thing I've realized, I didn't know this, but if something was not criticized in the past, you cannot criticize it in the present. I'm telling you, it's something I didn't know. But as Alidawa said, I'm like, oh, it's true. I didn't know that this rule. There was a rule saying if something was not criticized in the past, you cannot criticize it in the present. Like Muhammad had slaves, black, any color. He had them. It was a mixed bag of skin color when it comes to the slaves that Muhammad had. Right, he had slaves. And do you know that when Muhammad had slaves, nobody criticized Muhammad for having slaves, but nobody was looking at Muhammad. I was like, if this man is a prophet, why does he have slaves? Nobody talked about that, as a criticism of Muhammad. Muhammad, the mighty prophet, ate poison without knowing. Nobody criticized him for that in the past, So nobody should bring any objection against the religion of peace that was not made in the past. If that objection was not made in the past, how dare you? Okay? How dare you make it today? That time, the time to raise an objection was 1,400 years ago. And that time has passed. So you cannot bring any objection today. Sorry. Those are the rules. I didn't make them. Alidawa did, and he's a smart guy. When you have this beard, you understand? This is symbol of wisdom. So, yeah.
What new in the 1900s by Orientalists.
Yeah, it was the Orientalists, the racists, right? The white supremacists. They are the ones who decided to have a problem. This is the problem with white. This is why we have to dismantle white supremacists, or white supremacy rather. This is why we have to dismantle it. Imagine white supremacists telling us that we cannot marry children. Imagine this Orientalist, right, coming and telling us that we cannot marry children. How dare they? How dare they? How? What Allah has allowed, let no man disallow. What Allah has allowed, let no man disallow. Amen. Amen. Can I get an amen an amen in the comments? Can I get an amen in the comments? Chat. Amen. Amen. This is powerful stuff. Powerful stuff.
But this new phenomenon of, oh my gosh, your prophet married, da, da, da. So we're saying that we don't study our religion and we don't come to finding out the reasons. Then we find it problematic because we're like, I can't answer this. The only choice I have is this.
I wasn't even keeping up with some of the things he was saying. Let's go back a little bit.
By Orientalists.
Okay.
Where they came and brought this new phenomenon of, oh my gosh, your prophet married, da, da, da. So we're saying that
they came with this new phenomenon of what? Okay, so you are saying what?
That we don't study our religion.
We don't study our religion, and we don't
come to finding out the reasons. Then we find it problematic because we're like, I can't.
Okay. When you study the religion, when you study Islam, you finally find that it is not actually a problematic thing. So if you are watching right now and you think this is problematic, you need to pause and really study the religion. When you study Islam, like we've just done, and as you can see, I've made it clear to you why there is no problem with child marriage. We've looked at the school of jurisprudence and the four Sunni schools of school of jurisprudence, and we can find expressly that there's nothing wrong. Now we can give the straight answer. You don't even have to be a Muslim. You cannot give the straight. If anybody comes to you and they are criticizing child marriage, just tell them, no, look, let me tell you. According to all the schools of jurisprudence, once the woman is fit and she's prepubescent, it's about fitness. Once fistula cannot occur when you sexually penetrate her, nothing is stopping you. And what is the problem with that? No. Explain to me. What is the problem? Nothing. Obviously, nothing. That is why he said he has zero problem with it. Zero problem with the fact that his prophet penetrated a 9-year-old. Zero problem. They had to feed the 9-year-old they had to feed her with cucumbers and dates, with so many things. They were chunking her with food, and
answer this. The only choice I have is this. Either I'm going to reject the hadith and say it's weak, or I don't accept it, or say, you know what, actually the hadith is authentic. Here is the reason why he did it.
Oh, it's over. They didn't give us any reason. Okay, maybe it ended on a cliffhanger. No reason was given. He was just saying to me, and then there's this beautiful background music. Anyways, that's all you need. That is all you need. Nothing more. Nothing more. That's all you need to understand why child marriage is allowed. You know, there's another video I'm looking for. I thought I had this video, but it's looking like I don't have it. Where are you? 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 Okay, finally. I found you.
Wondering though.
I've found you. We looked at this video before, and we are going to look at it again. Let's keep to all the questions being asked, and then let's go to the part where Mohammed Hijab starts talking.
Yeah, I mean, we've done our part of something called the Sapiens Institute, which is the institute. Which
I don't have time for this braggadocious, slow-speaking nonsense that Mohammed Hijab does. So I'm going to put this at a playback speed of, I don't know, 1.5 or something. This is 1.1. It's not fast enough. Put it at a playback speed of, let's make it faster again. Faster again. 1.3 will be okay.
We've done a 3-part series on this question because it's one of the most common questions in the West. Like, why is it that the Prophet Muhammad, married Aisha at the age of 9? Or there was...
Notice it's like, it's one of the common questions in the West. Yeah, it is in the West that people ask that question. In the Muslim world, it's like, you married a 9-year-old. Oh, we marry 7-6. We marry younger than that. Okay, there's the headline from Yemen of an 8-year-old that was married. She died on her wedding night. And you can imagine what killed her.
Intimacy at the age of 9 and so on. And so,
and you should also note that before the man sexually penetrated the girl and killed her, the lady was looked on, right? They looked at her, they examined her, okay? And maybe I said, oh, this lady looks like she's fit for sexual penetration. And they gave her over to the man and said, go ahead, Gawaniru, do your thing. Right? And he did his thing and the girl died. This is the perfect system that Sharia creates. Okay? This is like the beautiful thing that it creates. When you look at it, you are just blinded by the beauty, right? So, and of course, in the Middle East, in Northern Africa, that's not even an issue. Like, oh, what was that? Fine, no problem. It is Westerners, Westerners that lack wisdom, that ask, why should your prophet marry a 9-year-old? Why is pedophilia a thing in Islam? Pedophilia, of course, is a concept created by white supremacists to make Muslims look bad.
The first thing I would say is that if you want a more detailed answer of what I'm about to mention now, you can obviously go and see these. I've done 3-part series.
Yeah, second thing you can see these are some of the things that Muslim preachers have to deal with. They do 3-part series. 3-part series. Maybe each of them may be like 3 hours long, trying to justify. So this is what it means to be a Muslim. You spend hours, you watch videos, you read books looking at justification for why it is okay to sleep with 8-year-olds. In 2024, that is what you spend your time doing. You're looking for justification. You're looking for reasons. Something that will put your mind at ease, that it is okay to go out there and disrupt the
I would say is that, look, I mean, first and foremost, you could technically believe in Islam and not believe that the Prophet ﷺ or the Prophet Muhammad married Aisha at the age of 9. In other words, it's not an article of faith. One must believe that the Prophet Muhammad married, Aisha at the age of 9, or many people try and bring about in order to.
It is a red here. It's not an article of faith. It's not an article of faith because what? Here's the funny thing. They know. Mohammed Hijab. If you are a Sunni Muslim, and you believe in the Quran, you are also to believe in all the Sahih hadiths. We are talking Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, and all the Sahih narrations from Ibn Dawood, Ibn Majah, Ibn Hisham and what you have to believe all those narrations that are graded Sahih. You have to. You are required to. You must believe in them. You can't reject them. Okay? So as a Sunni Muslim, you cannot deny. Because if you can deny, okay? If you can deny that Muhammad was 53 and he married was 50 or 51 and he married a 6-year-old, if you can deny that after reading it in the hadith, you can also deny that he even wrote the Quran. You can also deny that he exists. Because the only proof we have, okay, the surest proof, the most wide, how will I put it? Most of the important things that Muhammad did in his lifetime, we get them not from the Quran, but from the hadiths. Even how you pray is from the hadiths. Many of your practices are from the hadiths. So if you can deny one, you can deny them all. So there is no room. Don't pretend like there's a room to pick and choose as a Sunni Muslim. Like, oh, we can select. Okay, your new convert, what's his name? Sniko is not a Sufi. He's not an Ahmadi. He's not any of these sets that's introducing innovation into the Ahmadi. I call it Ahmadi. He's not any of those sets. No, he's not. And those sets you consider to be kuffars. Okay, he's not a Quran only Muslim. Okay, people whom you have declared kuffars, because I've watched your debates with them where you said, see, if you don't believe you are a kuffar, you are no different from the disbeliever. That is what you as a Sunni Muslim think of all these people from these other sets. Okay, so to pretend like, oh, there is a technicality under which it's not it's a red herring. It's not necessary. We can ignore it. You can convince yourself of something else. No, if you can't do that, then by extension, you can go ahead and reinterpret almost every hadith you have. You can sit down and say which one feels good to me and go with that interpretation.
Create some kind of a distraction to the key tenets of Islam. But let's take the historical account, because quite frankly, there are some revisionist accounts which some people have brought forward today and said, no, she wasn't 9, she was 18, or she was 21, or whatever. Looking at it myself, I don't agree with those accounts. I think that those accounts are not correct. I think it's correct that he married her at the age of 9. That's what happened, and that's something that she mentions herself, in fact, and it's narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari authentically. So the question is why and how?
Mm-hmm.
The real answer is, bro, you're kind of alluding to it before, which is that we have social constructs. Social constructs, not the kind that the feminists and the ones on the far left are talking about, which is that they say sex is a social construct, or like, for example, Judith Butler said sex itself, biological sex, the penis in a sense, is a social construct. We're not talking about it. We do have some social constructs. And ironically, I think the social constructs are those things which cannot be empirically justified.
Yes.
And I think one of the
there is no, according to, you should note that what he's trying to say now is that when it comes to a child, what is a child? Define a child. That children, the idea of a child, okay, is a social construct, okay? It's not a biological reality. Somebody being young is not a biological reality. It is a social construct, okay? The fact that people believe that you should not have sex with children, prepubescent children, is a social construct, okay? It is not rooted in biology. There's nothing in biology that says, maybe you shouldn't sexually penetrate an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old. No, there is nothing. It's just societies, okay, various societies coming up with their own arbitrary rule. People just woke up one morning, okay, and decided for whatever reason, right, that we should not be having sex with 9-year-old. I mean, why? What is? Give me one good reason why you shouldn't have sex with. There is none. These are just social constructs, okay? And he will go ahead to buttress his points. Don't let it not look like I'm putting words in his mouth. You hear it right from the horse's mouth, okay? So prepare for this wisdom to blow your mind.
those things is the idea of childhood. I'll be totally honest with you and tell you, how do we determine what is a child? I mean, historically, we've always understood the idea of childhood as corresponding with either biological ability or psychological capability, or a combination of both. The ability of somebody to work, or to be domestic, or have effective domesticality, and all these kinds of things. When I looked at the issue from a historical perspective, I started to realize why the West in particular has started to redefine what it means to be a child. And I think I've got the answer, because
important to note, the West redefined. They came up with a new definition of what it means to be a child. Before then, people didn't know what it was, what being a child meant. Is that even in the Quran and in the Hadiths from the the Quran, the Hadiths, the Tafsirs from the 9th century, in their explanation of either period for prepubescent girls, they use the word young girls, young girls, young girls, young girls, young girls. They repeated young girls so many times, recognizing that even they who we are writing these things recognize that these were children. But no, the concept of a child came about, from the West in the late 19th century. It wasn't really a thing until then. Until then, we didn't really know what a child was, okay? Even though we used the word child to refer to children. It was until the 19th century that we were like, let's introduce the word child. Child was the word child, the concept of a child, introduced in the 19th century. Mohammed Hijab, take it away.
In the 1800s, you'll find that, quite frankly, people were getting married in the United Kingdom at the age of 10 and 12. And in America, all the way down in Delaware, it was actually 9 years old or 7 years old. It was legal to get married at this age. So when did it shift? It actually shifted here in the United Kingdom when 1914, obviously, as you know, 1914 to 1918, there was World War One. And after World War One, there was an infrastructural mess in parts of Western Europe. And the ideas of education started to change. So legislatively, there was a law that was put forward in 1924 or 1925. I cannot remember exactly the year, but it was a law that changed the marriage age from 12 years old to about 16 years old.
Okay, so prior to the first, according to him, now there is every likelihood that everything he's saying is BS. But let's grant him all the things he's saying. According to him, prior to 1914, a child is somebody less than 12, right? 12 and above is what makes somebody an adult, right? Or let's say 13 and above. Let's even grant it 12 and above. In Islam, less than that is already ready for marriage. Now, 12 is bad. Do not approve. Okay? But in Islam, it's still less than that.
In England, where I'm speaking from, the age to get married was 12, and then it changed to 16. Now, you might ask, what is the reason? Actually, funny enough, ironically, once again, part of it was to do with some protesting from the first wave feminists. I looked at some Hansard records.
Yes. The reason people are so stupid. The reason why we see 12-year-old as children. The reason why we see give me a second, guys. Let me address something in the live chat. This is from End Corruption. And I want to see the history of your live chat, where it started from and how it is going. How it started and how it is going. I want to get the full history. You said something about the third largest refinery in the world, first black-owned refinery in the world, first Nigerian and African-owned refinery in the world. Okay. Let's talk about the refinery. The refinery that is having issue. The refinery that the owner is presenting himself as somebody who is being persecuted by the Nigerian government. We're talking about none other than Aliko Dangote. I will be the last person to be a defender of him. And even in this case, I'm not a defender. Because Aliko Dangote has benefited. Okay? He has benefited from the corruption that is inherent in this country for a very, very, very long time. The problem right now is that he's no longer benefiting the way he wants to benefit. And now he's crying for, like, oh, look at me. Woe is me. Imagine what they are doing to me. Look at, they are frustrating me. Look, from all indication, he wants a monopoly. The dude just want, he has always been a monopoly. I don't know why end corruption, you're making it look like he's doing what no man. We all know the modus operandi of Aliko Dangote. Now, many people who are not Nigerians will not understand what I'm talking about, but end corruption know what I'm saying. He has always been when he started his cement company in Nigeria, the government suddenly started going after every other cement company in Nigeria. Now he's giving speeches. I saw the last speech he was giving saying he was the first to own a cement company in Nigeria. You are the first. In which world was Aliko Dangote the first? He wasn't the first. He was frustrated. When he started his, the government was going after every other factory that made or bagged cement in Nigeria. And who was getting favors from all the policies that had to do with cement production in Nigeria? His company. He has always been the commercial extension of the Nigerian government for a very long time. Even under the former past administration, under Buhari, they closed the border. Right? Buhari closed the border. Say nobody should import anything. We need to promote the local industries. Right? But one person was allowed to import stuff into the country. One man. What is the name of that man? Aliko Dangote. You want to tell me about the biggest refiner? There's some people that when they start complaining about things in Nigeria, I'm like, please keep quiet. I don't care what. Cry blood. You have been a beneficiary of this system. It's that it is no longer cry very. Oh, you thought this? You know, there's people that think that they will always, constantly, continuously benefit from a corrupt system. They're like, it's fine as long as I'm happy. As long as I keep thriving. I saw where he was like, that guy is a very ridiculous human being. I saw one press conference he was given recently, and he said that the entrepreneurs in Nigeria, when they get to heaven, that when they get to the judgment throne, that God will tell them, just go into heaven. You've already suffered. Aliko Dangote, second richest man on the continent. Second richest. He used to be the number one for a very long time. Somebody from South Africa took his position. He was the richest man in Africa for a very long time. Now he's the second richest. Aliko, that man has suffered. Okay? He wants you to know that he has suffered so much that when he gets to the throne of God, the judgment throne of God, God will look at him and say, you have gone through a lot. You understand? You have gone through so much that I don't even need to judge you. Just go straight into heaven. And that's the person that I'm supposed to feel bad for. Please. End corruption in Nigeria, he is part of your problem. He's part and parcel of your problem. This has nothing to do with the conversation, but it's a good will I call it, relief from the difficult topic we are talking about. When I saw the whole thing, I was just laughing. I was like, good, finally. It's good that they're now fighting within themselves. Okay? It's good that the cabal of criminals are now in disagreement. They should continue. When they are done, they should let us know. When it comes to the government force, ask yourself, how come there are so many entrepreneurs in this country that they frustrate? And for a long time, Dangote has never been frustrated. They chased Innocent out of Nigeria, chased him out. And corruption, you know what I'm talking about. They chased Innocent out of Nigeria. He had to build his factory in Ghana. This is a Nigerian entrepreneur. He could not build his factory in Nigeria. He had to move it to Ghana. The owner of the Landmark Resort has gone to which country now? What was the African country he had to go to build something that they demolished? You know what they did to him? Come, they keep punishing every other entrepreneur. When it comes to Dangote, nothing happens to him. Instead, biggest loan. It took ages to be complete. People were building refineries in less than 5 years, right? Or something approximately close to that number of years. Aliko Dangote was taking forever, eternity, to complete the biggest. This would be the biggest refinery from the moon, from the sun, because refineries are things that people don't build. You understand? Refineries are like building pyramids, right? It's something that doesn't happen often. It's going to I don't even want to get into Nigerian government issue because these people are very ridiculous. They're the most ridiculous government in the. Oh no! They bragged the refinery is going to start. Is going to commence production in the next 3 days. In the next 3 seconds. They kept pushing it. When it came to the date, they decided that we are going to make it function. It turned out that all the crude that they would send to Dangote refinery has been used as collateral for loans that the Nigerian government have been collecting from China. They've used your crude oil for the next 40 years or so as collateral for loans. So they cannot send it. They cannot send it to their indigenous second largest refinery in the moon. And now he's like, the NNPC is frustrating him. Oh God, he has frustrated so many people. He has frustrated so many people. Dangote should go and sit down. He should go and sit down. He should go and sit down. He has, if refinery is the previous problem, he should stick to making cement. Okay, he should stick to making cement. You understand? The people that are stealing crude oil in Nigeria that have refined more oil than Dangote will. Oh my God! Nigeria is a wonderful country. Nigeria is a wonderful, wonderful country. If I'm to do a live stream about the corruption in this country, it will be 5 hours long. It will be 5 hours. Let's not get distracted. He said Dangote's personal politics aside. Okay, personal politics aside, what else are we going to talk about? Wait, end corruption in Nigeria. Do you really think that the problem of fuel scarcity or the problem of fuel price is going to be solved by Dangote refineries? Maybe in the interim is going to be solved. Let me tell you something about your government. For years, Nigeria, when it comes to West Africa or even most of Africa, we are one of the largest oil producing countries, right? We didn't have refineries, and even the refineries we had, when we finally had them, we are non-functional for a very long time. Non-functional refineries. So you have a country that produces oil, that has crude, exports the crude, but does not refine it. Doesn't. The country has to import refined crude to use for its citizens to use. How did your government decide to solve this problem? Build refineries? No. Privatize it? No. No, they didn't consider that. Okay? They did not. What did they consider? Subsidy. That was what, in their brilliance, in their supreme intelligence, in their wisdom, infinite wisdom, what your government came up. This is before Tinubu, this is before Buhari, this is even before Obasanjo. What they came up with was subsidy. That they are going to subsidize importation of crude. So you have private importers, not even public importers of crude. Private importers who import the crude, go to the government, collect subsidies. Now, the subsidy movement arrangement was leading to corruption. Shocker. Nobody could see it coming that when private individuals would just have to go to the government and claim that they brought so liter or so drum of fuel to the country, and then based on that claim, they are going to be giving subsidy. There is no possibility that people will be lying. There's what proof today, and then you have those who are in charge of this whole thing. There can be some form of, you know how Nigeria and corruption in Nigeria is. There will be some form of arrangement, or just say this is the amount of crude you brought in. Okay, we are going to give you this amount in subsidy, and then you share it between me and you. This was what was going on. It was a very corrupt system. In fact, somehow I feel they knew it was going to be corrupt, and then they just allowed it. It was very corrupt, unsustainable. Shocker. Who would have known that this arrangement would be unsustainable? So what did they do? Oh, we are going to Jonathan came under Jonathan's administration. He wanted to remove subsidy. What did it? Oh no, he's evil. He's demonic. He's the devil himself. How dare he remove subsidy? He's going to. This subsidy will not be used for anything. This is a system that they knew was unsustainable, but they started it anyway. And when an administration that realized how unsustainable it was, so like, let us stop this. They vilified him, made him a demon, made him the devil. One of the reasons Jonathan did not win re-election was because of subsidy he wanted to remove, that he only ended up removing in part. Buhari came, did the same removal of Buhari that criticized Jonathan for removing subsidy, came and removed more subsidy. Okay? Tinubu came and lied that he has finally removed it completely. That he has finally, that there's no more subsidy. It has been completely removed. No more. Now it is up for the market to decide what is the price of crude. Lie. Lie. Big lie. The subsidy arrangement is still going on. And now they're like, and now you believe that same government, the arrangement with Dangote, the Nigerian government are incapable of solving any problem. Any problem you're experiencing in this country, they are physically, mentally, and motivationally. They have no motivation. There is nothing motivating them to say, okay, let us solve this problem. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. There is no motivation. You know, when telecommunications was having issues in Nigeria, Obasanjo had a motivation to privatize the sector. There was something he stood to gain, right? For allowing MTN into Nigeria, there was something he stood to gain. Okay, but you see that Dangote refinery, Tinubu has done his calculation, and there is nothing that he stands to gain. So he's not going to let that thing fly. He's not. People should go and protest on August 1st. Hey, Nigeria corruption is not here, my brother. Let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it. And Dangote is part of that problem. Dangote is part of that problem. So that's why I feel for the average Nigerian who is suffering a serious hike in fuel price. The price of fuel is just on the rise. It is flying higher. It's like bread with too much yeast. It's like dough with too much yeast. It's just rising. I feel for them. It's really like the level of inflation is something else. It's really alarming. It's really alarming. Okay, I feel for them. Okay, Dangote is not the person I feel for. Dangote is doing well. Okay, is that your government is stopping him from making more money? Anyways, back to child marriage. Back to child marriage. And then, of course, they're going to be like, when the refinery is open, we are going to employ 1 million people. Oh yeah. 1 million. Yeah. All the people that Dangote have employed, they are living with. Isn't it trailers that are busy hitting people on the road? No, let me not talk about Dangote this happy evening. Let's move back to Mohammed Hijab.
Which are basically the records of Parliament and so on. So I was wanting to see what exactly the reason was. Another part of the reason, in my opinion, was the fact that education started to be seen as, or when somebody would finish education, would start to be seen as the appropriate time of when adulthood begins. So in the United Kingdom, for example, I think in America it's very similar. The age until compulsory education is 16 years old. So it's almost as if they're telling us, look, you're not a real man, you're not a real woman, you're not an adult yet until you finish the educational program.
This is just, you just keep quiet for a moment. Mohammed Hijab, everything you are saying is nonsense. Absolute rubbish. After talking about Nigeria, I've lost patience to listen to rubbish. Like my patience, my endurance level for rubbish has just reduced. That's just reduced. Because I have more things to say about the Nigerian issue. I just have more things to say. You know, let me speak let me say my mind. This has nothing to do with what this live stream is about. Let me say my mind, because as I started talking, more things are just coming to my mind to say about this subject. So let me speak my piece. Do I believe that wealthy people in this land, having wealthy people in this country, that creates industries that are giants in industries is good for the economy. Yes. Okay. Would there be an economic impact in Dangote refinery refining crude and selling it to Nigeria? Yes, in a way. Would there be some kind of impact? But I don't think how big will it be is up for conversation, right? Do I trust Dangote? No. He is a monopoly expert. Like I said, all he's interested in is running a monopoly. Dangote became wealthy through monopoly. Okay, the solution to many of the economic issues in Nigeria is not. That is the problem with when the government say they want to privatize something. When Obasanjo privatized the telecommunication industry in Nigeria for years, it was only MTN that was allowed to operate. What was Obasanjo doing? He was turning a government-run organization or industry that was solely restricted to the government running it to a monopoly. That is what they do. The same thing with privatization of disco, of the distribution, electricity distribution companies. What did they do when they privatized electricity distribution country? They just made it a monopoly. The only distribution company in the East is Enugu Disco. The only distribution company in Lagos is Ikeja Disco. The only distribution company in Abuja is the Abuja Disco. The same thing. I don't know if it's just monopolies they end up creating. That is why the electricity issue in Nigeria has not, despite the privatization, has not improved. Okay, when they privatize the oil production in this country, they're going to turn it to a monopoly. And of course, these government agencies want a monopoly that they can benefit from. Tinubu wants a monopoly that he can benefit from. And if the deal on the table for him is not something that he sees as, and you know Tinubu is a greedy person, okay? This is something that Nigerians were warned about. It's not news. He's not just corrupt. He's greedy. Very greedy. Okay? So it has to be something that will really enrich him very well. If that is not on the table, he's not going to okay it. That is not what is going to help the economy in the long run. It's not replacing the public sector with a monopoly. It's actual privatization. Actual privatization. Let everybody be able to participate in this industry. The solution to the problem is not, Dangote should not be the only one with a refiner. I don't care that it is big. The size is inconsequential. Let him have competition is what matters. If there is no competition, there will be no reason for him to even if it is the case that Dangote, one single company, is providing all the petroleum product that we are using in this country. Imagine that level of economic power. One person is holding over the entire country. That is what they will end up creating. So him, and also his complaint, I feel, is a distraction from what the average Nigerian is complaining about during this period with regards to the economic circumstances in Nigeria. His complaint is a distraction. Is a side note to the main issue, which is bad governance. That everybody's complaining. From my assessment, he's seeing a trend and he's hopping on it. Oh, everybody is dissatisfied with the Nigerian government. So am I currently. You know, my net worth has reduced from Buhari to Tinubu. I have to do something about it. Let me join the train of Nigerians who are complaining. So it's just like Nigerians saying that the biggest bridge in the country is Third Mainland Bridge. Okay. Has it stopped the traffic on Third Mainland Bridge? Has the fact that the Third Mainland Bridge is the biggest bridge in West Africa, has that stopped the fact that is one of the bridge that has serious traffic issues? And also the fact that bridge looks like something that will collapse tomorrow? It hasn't. So I don't know what is there to brag about. You have the second or even the biggest refinery in the world. I don't. Of what importance is that? Of what's the economic significance of that? There's nothing to it. And the fact that you are upset that you cannot run business the way you want to run it, that to give you all the money that you intend to make, you know, of what relevance is that to the current situation in this country? If they want to solve the crisis of Nigeria having refineries, Niger has I think it does. Not Niger, Chad. Chad has right. I think they have a refinery. Whether it's and solved their issue regarding that. And it was run by China. If you want a bigger refinery that can compete with that of Dangote, of course, it will either come from China or any other foreign company. And the Nigerian government will not want to have that, because those companies will not want to play the kind of nonsense corruption that Nigerian government is known for. They won't want to do that. So it's better they do this thing with somebody that they know, they are used to, they are man, he knows how the Nigerian system works. Both Dangote and the Nigerian government will settle. It's lovers' quarrel, okay? It's lovers' quarrel. They will settle. They will be fine. Both of them will be okay. Just now they are both of them are seeking sympathy from the public, who have nothing, who have nothing to gain from whatever it is that they are quarreling about. Yeah, it's lovers' quarrel. They will finish whatever it is that they are doing. They will be fine. They will move on. Life will continue for them. Fun times, yeah. Fun time. Fun times. All right. So I hope I will not be accused of no Nigerian YouTuber is talking about this. I have spoken about it too. No one will accuse me of not talking about it. This is not usually things that I talk about, but I think I have nothing more to say about the subject of refineries in Nigeria. And now I can move on.
In place for you. You have to be 16 and then you're an adult then. Now, this is completely alien in the historical landscape. I mean, this has never been how any civilization, almost at any point in time, in the 5 to 6,000 years of human civilizational existence, has ever understood what it means to be an adult. Now, I'm not saying, therefore, we should change it and go back to our old days.
So according to our sage over here, Muhammad Hijab, the man we should all be listening to when it comes to what it means to be a child and what is child marriage, the viewership has dropped. Guys, hit the like button so people can come back. We are back to the subject. We are back to the subject you all came here for. We are back. We are back to the subjects that you guys love to talk about. All my child marriage loving viewers, please return. Okay? We are back. And what's our very good friend here, Mohammed Hijab, is what our good friend Mohammed Hijab is talking about here is that what was he talking about? Is that for the first time in modern history, at one point, Westerners came to the conclusion that 16-year-old, from 0 to 16 is the age limit for the definition of what it means to be a child. Prior to that, people before then were like children. Could be, an adult could be a 3-month-old baby, stuff like that. It wasn't clear. What is the meaning of a child wasn't clear. So yeah, that's what he's trying to say. And of course, if, like I always say, if any of this is true, so what? Okay, our understanding of the universe today is different from our understanding of the universe 2015, 16 years ago, or even 1,000 years ago. But if a book writes something about with regards to something that we know now, and what that book writes about it doesn't give room for modern understanding of certain things, then that book is problematic, it's faulty. It doesn't. Islam is not this idea that, now that we recognize as a society that 16-year-old is the standard. And another thing about what he's saying is how he's making it look like it is arbitrary. Like, it's just arbitrary. Like there are no biological explanation for this. Like, this is not based on biology. Of course, it is based on biology. There's so many things we know about the human body that we didn't know back in the day. For example, we know about when the average age that a woman or an individual goes through puberty. Okay, and we know of the dangers of a woman having a child before puberty. Also, today we are aware of the psychological impact of child marriage. We are aware of the dangers, psychological dangers of child marriage. Okay, I'm hoping that sometime in the future I will maybe, let me not say it now. People will be like, get him on. Let me say it anyway. I'm hoping sometime in the future, maybe I will be able to get inspiring philosophy on the channel to explain like the studies that have been done in this field with regards to child marriage and why 18 is kind of like the benchmark at the moment. Even though I will even suggest that older than that is necessary. And also there are many, I believe there's so many studies about this that explains why we shouldn't have children. It's not just, we shouldn't have children getting married before 18 or before 16 in some countries. Okay, and whether you call it 16 or 18 or 19, it is a far cry from 9, 8, 7, 6. It is a far cry from forced marriage. Okay, right now we're saying people the marriage we're talking about right now is even between people who are consenting. In Islam, forced marriage is still a thing, and we're still talking about, we are acting like that does not exist. We're talking about consummating a marriage with somebody who may be lesser than 9, and according to Muhammad hijab, what determines whether that is good or whether that is bad is if her body can endure penetration. That is what Islam prescribes. Let's say every metric we use as a society is imperfect. Let's even grant that argument, right? That Muhammad hijab is trying to meet that any arbitrary whatever based on education, according to him, is imperfect. So you are saying the perfect way to measure if a child is ready for marriage is the Islamic method. We say, or for marriage and consummation of that marriage, is the Islamic method which states that you can get married to anybody, to a child, even if he's a baby. Consent is not required. It's not necessary as long as the child has not hit puberty, and that if a child below that is prepubescent is married, the marriage can be consummated when that child can endure penetration. You are saying that is perfect compared to what we have in the West? That there is nothing whatsoever that makes this wrong in any way? That is all arbitrary. We cannot really say, we cannot stand on any firm ground and say there is a reason to say this is wrong. Even without studies and what have you, I think it is self-evident that there is something wrong with what you are saying, or with what Islam is saying. But of course, he's going to pretend and go ahead and make the claim that, it is all relative. We all have to check on whether the child can endure penetration. That is the standard. And Islam's prerequisite is the best. Okay? Is the best. It's based on the ability to endure penetration. What is wrong with that?
Because it's very difficult now to get a young person of today to do the actions that they were doing yesterday. But what I am saying is that it makes no sense to take these social constructs, which are not based on biological fact. They are merely social constructs, literally things which have been put in place or have been understood to be okay, aesthetically pleasing, relativistic understandings by liberal people after the First World War and Second World War to be more.
Yes. So you're a liberal, you're a leftist if you believe that children should not get married. And if you think Islam is wrong, it's because you're a leftist. It's because you're a liberal. It's because you are progressive. It's because you are part of the woke crowd,
Particularly, it became even more pronounced because there was even bigger mess then, infrastructurally, and then they needed education even more to fix up economies. And so this idea of childhood corroborating or corresponding or being commensurate with educational age, or the end of childhood being when the education ends, became even more prominent. So what I'm saying is that, yes, it did happen according to the most authentic historical account. And no, we don't think there's any problem with it at all. We think that it's just because we have a different idea of what it means to be a child.
Yeah. We think it's because there's no problem with it at all. Because we think there's a different understanding of what it means to be a child. And we even do it today because, I mean, what does it mean to be a child? There's no definition for what it means to be a child. It's just based on a child. So this is the conclusion for Muhammad Hijab, based on what we know about Islam and Sharia law. Right? A child is any person who cannot endure sexual penetration physically, who, if you penetrate the person, then fistula will occur. If fistula will not occur when you sexually penetrate a female, no matter the age, that female is no longer a child. And that is better, and there is no problem with that, because leftists are the only ones who have a better alternative, who believe that we should base it on when they've completed education, or we should base it on when, some arbitral age, something like 18, leftists who came up with that idea, they are based on what? We have our own basis. It's based on we fistula occur, we fistula not occur. And that is perfect. And he doesn't go into details of how do you judge whether fistula can occur. Do you get it wrong sometimes? Yes, you do. It happened in Yemen, an 8-year-old died. And that 8-year-old is not the first. Where they judged wrongly. It's just based on you're looking at children. You're looking at 8-year-olds, 7-year-olds, and you're trying to gauge how can this 7-year-old handle penetration. That's what you are dealing with when you're looking at children. That's the society that you create. He doesn't mention that. No, you should just, it's the leftists, the feminists, that came up with the idea that something like what we are doing in Islam is bad. And we all know that feminism is evil, right? All those blue-haired feminists, they are the problem. So don't listen to them. Instead, listen to Allah and his final messenger.
Which can be tracked historically. But now, if the situation has changed, we'd say that the general principle in Islam is, you can do what you kind of want, so long as, I'm not going to say you can do what you want so long as you're harming. You can marry whomever you want to marry, so long as it doesn't cause them harm, physical and psychological. So, for example, if I marry a 100-year-old woman, or Sneeko, if you marry with your tank top a 100-year-old woman, and you get involved with her,
keep quiet. Keep quiet, Mohammed Hijab. Staj said Mohammed Hijab visited Pakistan recently and he was praising Pakistan a lot, stating it is the strongest Muslim country in the world with East. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Pakistan, the hub of terrorism. That's nice. I like that. Mohammed Hijab, he can move to Pakistan anyway, but he won't. Yeah, look at Sneeko. Look at the way he's looking. He look. Look on his face is just something else.
Intimately, she might die. I mean, she might have some kind of health problem. So we would say that, well, if you were to be intimate with a 14-year-old or 13-year-old who's got huge hips and huge breasts and huge body, I mean, quite frankly,
even Sneeko himself is like, I can't even believe we are having this call. This is the funny thing. Any person who has this conversation today will tell himself, like, I can't believe we are having this conversation. That's what any sensible person will be like. I can't believe we are talking about this. Like we are debating 16, 14. And here's the funny thing. This is not a conversation of whether a 14-year-old can marry a 16-year-old. That's bad. But that's not even what the conversation is about. It's about whether a 50-something-year-old can marry a 14-year-old. That's what the conversation is about. And Mohammed Hijab is like, the reason why you think it is wrong is because you are a feminist. Okay, so guys, if you have a problem with this, you are a feminist, and that's a bad thing. Okay. You don't want anybody to use the F word to refer to you. That's a bad word. His mannerism is also annoying. Mohammed Hijab's mannerism is just, I'm like, stop this. You're trying to puff yourself up. It looks disgusting.
Would say it's not going to have the same effect medically. I mean, no one can make the argument. But in these countries where we live in now,
nobody can make the argument that there's that
one is legal and one is illegal. So, in other words, you can't marry a 100-year-old woman, but you can marry that girl that's you can't. You're a pedophile if you go for the girl.
What in Islam is preventing? Look, in Nigeria, Fulani herdsmen have raped women that are old, like we're talking 70, 80-year-olds. They have. And I don't see anything in Islam that is preventing that. I mean, they are committing acts of jihad. They've done it. Fulanis, the notorious Islamic group in this country. Fulanis have done that to 80-year-olds in this country. Tell me something in Islam that says if one of the people that your right hand possesses is an 80, 90-year-old, you cannot go into that person. All these things he's saying, you should provide something in the Quran or in the Hadith that say don't do it to 80, 90-year-old women. All this is just BS, big BS, lies. In Islam, it's not allowed. It's harm.
It's got the hips. And once again, pedophilia is very relative because if you go to
pedophilia is very relative. Pedophilia is relative. It's very relative because we don't know that pedophilia is having sex with the people, which is something your prophet did, which is something your he's talking and somebody like Sneeko is listening to this and will think that we are talking about 12, 13, 14. No, we're talking about 6, 7, 8, 9. That's what we are talking about.
Sure. The age of consent is 14, but in England it's 16, and parts of America it's 18, and other parts of America it's 18.
Yeah, those are old women in Islam. 14, 16, 18. Those are old women. Muhammad hijab. Okay, those are old women.
In other parts of the world it's 21. So one man's pedophile is another man's good citizen, a liberal actor. So the point of who sets the age is another issue because it's very arbitrary at this point. But we're not saying, therefore, we should go back to a time where the age is not set. We're not saying any of that stuff. We're just saying that to use this as an argument against the veracity of the truthfulness of the religion of Islam is unsatisfactory, I would say. What do you think about that? And feel free to push back.
I think that's a good explanation. I think 9 is very young. 9 is very young.
Yes, I mean 9 is very young. Yeah, it's very young to us.
Yeah. 9 is. Ladies and gentlemen, 9 is young to you who have been brainwashed by feminists. It's very young to you. Feminists and liberalism have brainwashed you to think 9 is very young. Okay, it's very young to you because of you've been brainwashed. Okay, and, so.
How old was Muhammad at the time? We don't need to stay on this subject. There's other we can talk.
This also shows you like the shallowness or the willingness. The Sneeko is just. Somebody will always say, "Oh, you are just bots. You are this. You are bots. You have been programmed by the system. The system is telling now you are Sneeko. Now you are in a system. You left one. You replace one bot with another. You replace one system with another. You replace one matrix with another matrix. Now you are in a matrix called Islam, and you have to do everything that they say you should do. I mean, it's so crazy how you're like, oh, the liberals, the progressives are creating bots who just repeat talking points and who don't think for themselves. And how you free yourself from that is to go to Islam, a religion that requires you don't think at all. You just follow what Muhammad says. And you're like, yeah, that is the better alternative. It's like jumping from the fry pan straight into the fire. And then you are burning in the fire. And you're like, hey, well, at least I'm not in the fry pan. Yeah.
Wondering because in debates I want to figure out how to continue because that always comes up, especially from Christians.
I agree.
When the debate comes up, I wanted to see how to navigate that.
Okay, well, what is young? What does it mean to be young?
Yeah, what does it mean to be young? What does it mean? Even though the Quran, I mean the hadiths that talk about the age of Aisha those hadiths mention that she was young. The hadiths themselves mentioned that she was young. We read a hadith that talked about how she was being force-fed so that she could be ready for marriage. Physically look plump for the marriage. We read those hadiths. And Muhammad hijab is still like, hey, what is young? What is young? What exactly is young?
To be innocent, to be childlike, and even not even going through puberty, also physically not matured yet.
Okay, beautiful, excellent. So you've mentioned some key terms, right? Innocence and puberty, because these are things which are measurable. Now we can start to talk about it. Frankly, we believe that Aisha at the time she had gone through puberty.
Yeah. He did the beautiful thing about what he just said. He did not say that Aisha at the age of 9 has started, menstruating. That's not what he said, though. He didn't say Aisha at 9 has started growing maybe pubic hair or there are signs of puberty showing. No, that's not what he said. What he said is that Aisha at the age of 9 had gone through puberty. That is true. At the age of 9, Aisha was fully matured. the process of puberty had occurred. Muhammad Hijab, if that is the case, then why is it that Aisha who didn't get pregnant? Why didn't she get pregnant? Why did Muhammad's favorite bride, why was she childless?
So we actually have evidence of Aisha saying that she had gone through puberty at that time.
That's a lie. That's the lie. This is a big oh, big lie. There is no hadith of Aisha saying. In fact, there are hadiths that talk about how young and immature Aisha was.
So that's one aspect. The reason why he didn't marry her before, because she hadn't gone through puberty yet. Now, look at the numbers of people that go through puberty at whatever age.
They even wrote it on the screen. Aisha had gone through puberty. Big fat lie.
You will find a percentage of people even today that go through puberty at the age of 9.
Is that a medical possibility? I don't think so. I don't want to say no because I don't have all the facts, but I'm very sure people who start the process of puberty at the age of 9, yes. People who have completed the process of puberty, they are done with it. No. And people know that puberty is a process. It's a process of maturity. That means somebody who is matured, physically matured at the age of 9. I'm asking Google if there are girls who are physically, sexually matured. I start asking this question now. Google will think I'm into children. Now, this is the kind of question that Islam is. The puberty is a process of physical and physical maturity where an adolescent reaches sexual maturity and becomes capable of reproduction. On average, puberty basically begins. This is the beginning. When it begins, on average, is 8 and 13 in females and 9 and 14 in males. That's when it starts. Let me read this. Let us read this study together while we are alive. I hope it's not long. I hope it's not long. But let's see if we can browse through it. Issues of concern. In general, puberty follows a predicted pattern of onset and sequence. However, due to differences in each individual, including environment, puberty may proceed in a lesser than predictable way. Issue of concern related to puberty includes, but are not limited to, delayed puberty, precocious early puberty, and contrasexual puberty. Okay? Often specific concerns to adolescent males in the appearance of enlarged breasts during puberty. Okay. Puberty can also bring about development. Female development during puberty. There's this one, whatever it's called, refers to the breast growth. And it occurs between 9 or 10. An increase in estrogen, blah, blah, blah. And then there's this, which is approximately 6 months after this, the growth of pubic hair, which typically occurs 3 or whatever months after the growth of the breast. And then there's menstruation in females. The first menstrual period caused by whatever occurs 1.5 to 3 years after this. And then there's other ovarian development. This other ovarian development, when does that take place? They didn't mention. And then there's the uterus size, and then there's the vaginal change. And when is it complete? I did this thing in school, and all of that has gone out of my head. Delayed puberty. Is there the precocious? It was precocious puberty. Okay, precocious puberty. Precocious or early puberty or secondary sexual character is defined as the appearance of secondary sexual characteristics prior to the age of 8 in girls or before the age of 9 in boys. Precocious puberty can be broken down by pathological location in central. Okay. Which leads to early but normal puberty. Okay. Many cases of early puberty development is shared among girls and boys. However, some cases of early puberty are unique to each of the sexes. Okay, the causes of precocious puberty. Okay. Premature, whatever this is, correlates with premature presence of pubic or so hair, increase in okay. And okay. Anyways, I'm yet to see anything here that suggests that somebody can be done. In fact, I will go out to say, don't quote me, but I think I can safely say that you can't. What am I even talking about? You can't. You obviously cannot. I think it's a biological impossibility. And I may be wrong. I doubt I am, but you can't. Look at me trying to know. I don't want to say something that will be proven false and be like, oh, look at this 9-year-old. She's now ready to have children. And how rare that can be. What kind of genetic or biological anomaly that will be that a 9-year-old is done with puberty. She's now ready to have children. 9-year-old. And when I mean ready to have children, of course, once somebody start seeing their period, once they're having their period regularly, they can conceive, but it does not mean they can push out the child. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the process complete. The hips have widened and is widened, and the head of a child can come out through like the complete process of puberty at the age of 9. That is impossible. That is completely impossible. What am I saying? It is completely impossible. You know. But of course, Aisha said that, Aisha the doctor, Aisha was a doctor. She was not just that she was a doctor. She said expressly that, hey, look, at 9-year-old, I was ready to go. So, and of course, there's also the ignoring the underlying problem in Islam, where we already know what the school of Sharia law says. It's not even about whether she had gone through puberty. It's not even just, yes, the marriage of Muhammad to Aisha is a moral problem, but it's beyond just that. It is the entire Sharia law. Okay? So I hope that's what we've been able to establish in this live stream, right? I hope that's what we've been able to establish, that the problem of child marriage transcends Muhammad. It transcends that, and it is a crucial, essential part of Islam. Okay? It is something that Islam allows. Okay? Because of what is provided for in Surah 65 verse 4 and what was demonstrated by Muhammad and his companions. Okay? Based on what they did and based on what is in the Quran, child marriage is part of Sharia law. So when you have your Sharia compliant utopia in the UK, or you find it in France, okay, coming with it is child marriage. Okay? And there is nothing preventing it if the parent of the child and a man want to go ahead and make such relationship possible. Nothing. And it's something that is happening in the Muslim world today, mostly because of this. So that's the problem of Islam. That is the problem of child marriage in Islam, is that it transcends what Muhammad did. It is not just what Muhammad did. It is also what exists, in the Quran and what exists in Sharia law based on what he did. So when you talk to people about when you encounter Muslims and you raise, look at what your prophet did, and they're like, hey, well, it happened so and so at such period, 1400 years ago. Okay, you say, okay, but is look at Surah 65 verse 4. What do you have to say about Surah 65 verse 4? And look at what, School of Jurisprudence in Sharia law have to say about it. Before Sunni schools, look at what they have to say. Even schools or even in no matter the set, Sunnis, Shias, look at what they have to say about it. Okay? Is there a in this your religion? Even if I want to forgive Muhammad, with the precedence he has set, how can that be overturned? Ask a Muslim, okay, how does this change? How does this stop? How do you end this in Islam? And you realize that there is no ending this. There are many organizations that are, this is the struggle that they are going through. Girls Not Brides, UN, United Nations organizations, so many of them are trying to end this, and they are not. Yes, they say child marriage is reducing, is on the decline, but it's still prevalent. In fact, in some societies, it is looking like it is increasing, especially when we look at places like Afghanistan, as the Taliban has taken over. Why it is decreasing in other parts of the world, now it is increasing there. Proudly brought to you by the religion of peace. So, yeah. That is what we need to know about Islam. That is what we need to know about child marriage. And with that, we bring this live stream to an end. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. A huge shout out to everyone who was here. Currently, we have 40 of you. I really appreciate. I hope in the next live stream, YouTube will have mercy on me. Have mercy on me and stop what they are currently doing. They all know what they are doing. I don't like blaming YouTube too much for this thing. Maybe there's something I am doing. I don't know. But anyways, I appreciate everyone that is here. I appreciate you all. I appreciate my moderators, Jazz, Can You Not, Shayna, and Sash. I appreciate you all. I appreciate those of you who told me you'll be present for the live stream and you were here. I appreciate all the people who gifted memberships and those who gave super chats. I appreciate you all, and I appreciate those of you who stuck with me even when I deviated from the topic and address the issue of corruption in Nigeria. I appreciate you all. Thank you for your patience. I hope you guys learned something from that. I don't know. Maybe you did. Maybe you did not. Maybe you were offended by it. You're like, why is he talking about that stuff? I hope that was not the case. And yeah. Anyways, thank you all. I appreciate it 100%. And until we meet, we'll be meeting again on Saturday. Until then, peace.